Hello guys. Uh, so today's video is about loneliness, and so I'll just get straight into the video, into the subject. I've thought about this a few times, but then life gets in the way. I've got things to do, and you get busy and you forget about it. But this evening I was speaking to my daughter and I saw her sitting here and I was over there at the sink. And I said to her, like, when you get older, you're going to have a boyfriend, just like my 16-year-old. She's got a boyfriend, and when now that she has a boyfriend, she's more distant, because she's got her own man. So I was just saying to my daughter Annabella, when you get a boyfriend or get a job or whatever, you'll leave home, and then Salvatore will leave home, and you'll leave Daddy. I just thought about it. I thought, wow. And I was just saying to her, because I'm quite open with her, and she said, well, yeah, children have to move on. She said, maybe I could live near you, or maybe we don't know what's going to happen in the future. I just felt so, just the thought of being alone it's really, really scary, because I've never been alone. Only once in my life I was alone, and that's when my insomnia started. I'll tell you that another time, but for now, going back to feeling lonely, I was looking at my daughter. She was sitting here. I was looking at the dogs who were all lying down, and I thought, one by one, they're all going to pass away. And then none of them will be here. My daughter and my son will be away. My wife will be gone wherever she is. So one by one, the people around me now will be gone. Like, for example, my dogs, I don't know, in 5-6 years time or whatever, 10 years time, they won't be here anymore. And that's going to be difficult. Imagine like burying each one. I've got 6 of them, well, 5, because one is, no, but even Dave, having having to go through the pain 6 times. I think after these dogs, I won't have any more dogs, because I won't be able to take it anymore. There's so much pain. So now are happy times, because they're still young. They're only 2 years of age. They're strong, they haven't had any illness. They haven't passed away. But there'll come a time when they're all gone. My daughter probably won't be with me, and she's like my rock. She's the person closest to me. And people are going to say, "Oh, it's not fair. You put those, all that stress on your daughter." Well, it's nothing to do with being fair or not fair. You have to understand where I'm coming from. I never left home, whereas my wife, she left home when she was about 15 or 16. She went to another town, another city to work. And in China, maybe you can do that. There's less of these nonces, or less of these blokes that do bad stuff. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that word, but anyway. So she grew up with a certain idea. She thinks sometimes, yeah, the kids could go out and work at 15, no problem. I said, yeah, you're not in China, So anyway, that's something else. But I grew up, and I still lived with my parents even until my 50s. As I said, I never left my parents, so I was never alone on my own. So some of you might say, oh, the Peter Pan syndrome, he never grew up. Yeah, maybe I never grew up. The only time that I did live on my own was in China, I filled up that vacuum, that space pretty quickly with girls. I initially went there to study Tai Chi with a master. I found a master and he taught me, but I was too interested in relationship and girls, so I stopped at Tai Chi. And then I found my wife, and yeah, so I always needed someone to be near me, like someone to love me, I suppose, someone to have a family, or being alone is bloody scary, really scary. Just the thought of being alone, like the thought of being in a room like this, four walls, no dogs, no no Annabella, no Salvatore. What kind of life is that? So I was just talking to Annabella and I was saying, oh, I have to get used to being alone. I have to get used to being with me, with myself. How do people do that? I have some friends that they're alone. It's frightening. It's really frightening. What is frightening is coming back home to a house that is dead. Is dead. It has no vibe of children. It has no vibe of a family, a mother or father. You switch the TV on. Oh my God! Just thinking about it, it feels like there's like almost no point in living. It just feels so barren, empty, like a desert. There's nothing there. It feels like you're in a haunted house or something. I don't know. It's a difficult thing to explain the way I'm thinking. But I used to come back home to um, the apartment where I lived in China, and I used to open the door, and I was really worried. I thought there might be somebody in the apartment, so I used to speak loudly before I closed the door, look to see if there's anybody behind the corner. I was scared, and that's where my insomnia started in China. My wife was living in the UK, and I was living in Beijing. I used to put on to fall asleep. I needed some sound, something that I knew that was familiar from the past and funny, and people talking as if there are people in the room. So I used to watch. I used to fall asleep to Rising Damp, Man About the House, George and Mildred, On the Buses, those kind of things. And I used to fall asleep. If I didn't have them, I couldn't fall asleep because it was dark, it was quiet, and I found it bloody difficult. That's when my insomnia started. And now it's been 15 years, and like I find it difficult to sleep without watching Man About the House now. I go through periods. Used to be Robin's Nest, Mind Your Language a long time ago. So, yeah, I have to get out of that and fall asleep without watching those YouTube videos. Getting comfortable with being quiet and being alone and being in the dark. So yeah, that's it. I just the realization today that soon I'm going to be alone, and sooner than I think, because once my wife has a new apartment, as soon as we sell this, I don't know when we're going to sell this, she's going to go off and have her own place, and my kids will be with her, and I'll be alone. In the house I'll have the dogs, but I won't have any human being to talk to. So I can talk to them, but they don't reply. I can talk to this camera, this thing, this bloody rectangular thing. Make videos if people are still interested in what I've got to say. If my stories don't dry up, if they dry up, then I don't know what I can say. Yeah, so those are my thoughts for this evening. Guys, let me know if you've got the same thoughts, if you're alone, you know, how do you handle being alone? You know, maybe some people might say, well, do you have a purpose in life? Do that purpose. Yeah, you can focus on that purpose, but, you know, I don't know, you can focus on bodybuilding, go to the gym, this and that, have friends, but at the end of the day, you come back home and you're alone. You're alone. In and you feel that loneliness in the quiet that there is in the house. I feel it already because I know what it feels like when I lived in China. And just this evening, the realization when I saw my daughter sitting here and thinking, yeah, she'll be gone somewhere else, you know, and even when she gets older, she'll won't want to spend time with me. And, you know, I have to get used to that idea. As horrible as that is, I have to get used to that idea. I don't want to. So I have to carve out a kind of life for myself and to do something that I've never done in my life. Be comfortable with just being alone on my own and with my own thoughts. I don't know if you guys have have experienced this problem of being alone and lonely. You know, being alone is not the problem, it's being lonely that's the real problem. I've lived my life with my parents and with a family, and I feel alone. Can you imagine me being alone? Sorry, I felt lonely even though I wasn't alone. But now being alone, I might feel even worse. My brain's going to say, yeah, you're lonely now. Look, when you had a family, you know, at least you had people around you. You thought you were lonely, but now you're really going to be lonely. Yeah, it's weird. It's almost like madness, like having to listen to your own thoughts. All you hear is a bloody clock ticking. It's too quiet, and you've got nobody to talk to. Bloody hell, it just feels frightening. Anyway, I'll speak to you guys another time. Let me know if you've had these same thoughts and how have you overcome these periods, you know, when you're alone. I know people are going to say, make yourself busy. All right, but it doesn't change when you come back home. There's no woman there. There's no children there. How do people do, you know, mugto, men going their own way? How do they do it alone? We have to work this out. Anyway, speak to you guys later. Thanks for listening. Thumbs up, thumbs down, share. Turn on the notification if you've subscribed. If you haven't, subscribe and turn on the notification button. And see you guys in the next video. Okay, bye.
Friends, increasing my strength, but I remember myself.